What's up? How we doing? It's Friday night. It's late Friday night. It's 10:30. It feels like the morning. It feels like 10:30 in the morning to me. I went to sleep pretty much right after I got done with everything this morning, and I just woke up around like 9:30, 9 something like that. Made myself some breakfast, some shrimp scampi, which is probably a huge mistake. About to travel 8 hours in the car after eating butter and oil. I hope that hits me before we leave. That's all I gotta say. So how we doing? How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody had a good week. I have been just continuing the trend. I actually have to get a couple screenshots of my charts from today. Excuse me. So that I have them for, man, look at what this one did. This one was a funny one because they were on earnings. But when you scroll in, this was actually a good trade. I had mentioned this in my video. Pretty much top ticked and bottom ticked our entry and exit. But then that thing shot up the high day. Thought about getting back in. I almost wish I wouldn't have got filled here because we probably would have got an ad here and then probably caught more of the position. But I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? Hey, Em, what's going on? Did you bring any friends? I feel like it's kind of quiet in here already. LAUR. This one was a little on my impatient side, mainly because of my fill. So I actually thought I top ticked this one. Well, not top ticked, but 1545. The bid was 1545. That's when I hit the button in my head. But literally, as I hit the button, I saw the bid drop to 32. And that was actually where we ended up getting filled at 32. So a 13-cent jump on something where, the lines were only 10 cents. That was kind of a big jump for me. And it mentally, was like, wasn't feeling it. So it still worked, right? It still worked. And we were still somewhat patient. I was looking at this line here. And once it bottomed out here, you can see it got down below 15. I was hoping it would continue. It jumped back up through 15, so we just took it off. We weren't looking to let this one go back. And keep in mind, this was after that ORCL trade where it just, did this same drop and went, and I was already like, I didn't get my fill, blah, 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 blah. Yo, what's up, A? How you doing? It's about time you made it to one of these. I guess maybe because I started a little bit later. Might have helped. Did I screenshot this? I don't remember. Let's do it just in case. And OSUR was my last one. This one was a little tricky. I actually almost stopped out of this one. But I'll tell you why I didn't. Previous resistance here. And you could even argue there was some here. But it doesn't really matter. It's just somewhere around that area. Nice move, right? On volume. Volume was there. Nice move. And we started this. And it went a little higher. And I told myself 1175 was going to be my ad. That's what that was just kind of what I pre-calculated. I wanted to go through 1150 and then get up there towards 1175. Didn't quite get there. It was kind of pissy I didn't get the ad even here because I kind of felt the top there and I just didn't hit it. Probably would have been out pretty much all my position when it made the drop back down here. But just didn't. So as it was kind of continuing, you could feel that this wanted more, right? Look at the bottom wicks. Kept, getting bought back up to the highs. And so I almost knew that this was coming, right? Even though my entry was here, my starter entry was here, you could feel it that this was definitely going to happen, right? So in my head, what I told myself was when it breaks this area, how it breaks this area is going to determine how I want to play this trade. If it breaks it and it struggles, like right above the area, but is holding support, it's a cut. If it breaks this area and squeezes, which it did, we're looking for an ad, which we did. If it breaks this area and fakes out, okay, we're still in the trade. We didn't get an ad still. We're looking to get out, break even if possible, right? That was the three options in my head. And those are the reason those are the three options in my head are because those are the three things that happen the most, right? Either it breaks through, it struggles, but the buyers keep stepping in. It builds support using this as, or builds support from the previous resistance, and it looks to move higher, right? It becomes a grinder. It squeezes, extends the move that it already made, which is what we want, right? This is what happened, is what we wanted. And so thankfully it worked out, and we get our add in, and it comes back down, and we make some profit. Or it fakes out, and unfortunately our entry kind of sucked. It'd be different if our entry was up near the highs there, because then a fake out would work out in our favor. But if it was a fake out, it kind of would have sucked. Probably would have just been looking for break even. And it looks like we would have at least got it. What was our entry there? 50. So yeah, we would have got a shot at the breakthrough. Probably would have ended up red, just being a little greedy there, looking for this to maybe try to touch VWAP after it faked out, if it did. But granted, this all did happen after it did this, so we can't even sit here and say if it was a fake out breakout that it would have done this, because who knows what it would have done. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Brian? How you doing, man? I mean, is there just not? There's like nobody in here. Oh yeah, there's 10 people. I thought it said 4. Everybody say hi. Hi. Any idea why interactive brokers would work on one laptop and not the other? Did you have it running on the other? So like you can't log in on both at the same time? Legend, what's up, man? So yeah, that was a trade on OSUR. Let's go over to LAUR. Like I kind of explained this one already, but again, guys, these were just right off the scanner. Everyone always is like, you know, I'll get people coming in the Discord and they'll private message me like, where do you find these stocks at? And I'm just like, the scanner. And they're like, what do you mean just the scanner? And I'm like, I literally get on as cocky and bad as this might sound. I get on at 9:25 pretty much every morning, and I just let the scanners do the work for me. And it's working. So people can doubt all they want, but hey, whatever. 32. Since I started trading with the 20 variable, I'm 32 for 32. So I can't really complain. I'm going on vacation next week. When I get back, I'm definitely we're gonna up it a little bit. And then I actually have some pretty big news coming up as well. But I'm gonna keep that a secret for right now. I'd rather do that when I get back. Look at me, I'm clickbaiting. I got some pretty big news, but you're going to have to wait. Jose, what's up, man? Don't be lazy, look for opportunities. I mean, when I pull up these scanners, Tennessee Stock Watch scanners, for anybody that doesn't know what they're looking at, it does all the work for you. I mean, throughout the day, it's going to keep a running tally, and what we're looking for is this I3 number, which is the intensity number. So the higher that number, the higher chance, probability that you're going to pull up a chart and it's going to look like this. LAUR was right off the scanner and right on this move here. I don't know the exact number when it alerted. I want to say it was at 15. But basically when it hits 20 on, well, I'm not going to say 20 specifically because it can change via the price of the ticker, but when the intensity is rising, when it does alert on the scanner, what the scanner is telling you is that there is a high probability from the point of it being alerted that it's going to reverse instead of continue. So if I pull out my little drawy pen thing, so if it alerted at 15, which is this one here, so if it alerts there, what the scanner is saying is the odds of the stock doing this versus this is probably about 20% versus 80%. I need to work on my drawing numbers. That's really bad. This is a 2, not a Z. So when the scanner alerts here, it's saying, hey, there's about 20% chance it continues, but there's an 80% chance that it's going to reverse. Now, keep in mind, this is also within the next 30 minutes. So if it alerts here at 15, it's saying within the next 30 minutes, the odds of this being under $15 is 80%. And that's based off of the move was too intense to that point that it's not going to be able to withstand that move. Granted, it's not 100%. Now, this is every ticker that gets alerted on the scanners, you have to put, Brian likes to call it the Tim filter. So you have to have your own filter as well. So every stock that you pull up, you're not necessarily going to trade, right? If it alerted at 15, like let's get rid of these. If this alerts at 15, you know me at this point, if you've been following along, I like to see extension from previous resistance. Now, granted, this was from pre-market and it's kind of a weird candle, but that's what I'm looking at. I mean, I maybe could, dismiss that candle and kind of look like here because there was some here and then there was some here. But granted, that was on like no volume as well. So if we do get rid of this line, I mean, look at how far extended that looks from previous resistance. But even so, it was still extending itself from this resistance as well. So that's what I like to see. I like to see a fast move. And I always say this too. If you take away all these lines and you just look at the candles, look at the biggest candles, right? You got this candle here. Why is it not letting me click? So this candle was in a 60-cent candle. Then you got like a 20 cent, 30 cent, 30 cent, 20 cent, 20 cent. So we're looking for candles that are bigger than all the rest, right? So if we get that on an intense move up, look, this was a point candle. That's saying, okay, that's a pretty big move, right? So what's the saying that we always use? And technically you could add to this. So it was almost like $1.20. So it was a $1.20 move from the bottom of this candle, not including it was already starting to extend itself a little bit here. So the faster the move, the weaker the trend, right? So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for extension, whether you want it to be there or there, doesn't really matter. You're looking for extension, and then you're looking for fast. Those are the two key components for entry. I mean, you can look at volume too. That's my third. It has to. I like to see volume. I don't want to be trading something with no liquidity. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to. But how do we find those? And people ask me, I was like, well, how do you find it? The scanner. It's that simple. I sit here in the mornings bullshitting around in the ISW chat, and then I just let the scanner do the work. I hear the beep in my ear, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's scanning? LAUR. Okay, let's pull it up. Does it fit my parameters? Yep. Okay, short. I mean, it's that easy. That's all I'm doing. And I owe it all to the scanners and to Brian for, finally kicking Tinker Tim in the ass. So, yeah. All right. Tell us about your biggest losses and the learning lessons from them. That's actually really good. Well, let me come back to that for let me catch up real quick. The charting on my usual laptop in IB wasn't displaying 1 hour later. I used the other one and it works. It's super weird. Yeah, that's kind of weird. 1%ers? I don't know what oneers. What is that, Spikers? Ever lost it all on an account? I've came close. I've never actually lost the full account before. I've come pretty close. I got to the point where I didn't feel comfortable trading that small amount anymore. So I just cut it off. I got down to $1,000 and I didn't feel comfortable trading that. Like it just didn't make sense to me. So I paper traded for a month and saved up my money on the side to get back to where I felt comfortable. CW, what's up, man? Jag, how you doing, man? NVAX today was waiting for above 100. I think NVAX happened after I went to sleep. Yeah. Say I was already sleeping at this point. That's a pretty good move though. I don't know if this alerted or whatnot, but this candle, I mean, look at this candle here, right? These two candles, that's a pretty big move compared to all the rest of the candles, even though look at all these wicks. It just signals chop, 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 chop. And it looks like it finally picked a direction, right? I probably would have been waiting for a little bit more myself, honestly, after looking at this chart. Especially volume's not great either. But yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, you had some resistance up here as well. Yeah, I don't think you ever were making it to 100. You had too much resistance. Yeah, it went right to that area. Yeah, that would have been an interesting one. This wouldn't have been something I'd be interested in because I would have had this up. If it wanted to shoot up to this area here, I probably would have looked to start for a double top there. Using the 20 variable, it's a lot easier to try double tops because you can kind of put your feet in the water. Test it out, see what's going on. Brian says, yeah, I did miss this part. I think it's important to note I3 is designed to be early before the reversal occurs, so you have time to pull up the chart, see the situation, optimize the trade. And I guess I've become so used to it that sometimes I forget that. But LAUR is actually a perfect example. We'll use 15. I don't know when exactly it alerted because I didn't really pay attention to that. I just see it alerts and I pull it up. But say it alerts here at 15, which looks pretty common to where it probably alerted. It's probably where a lot of the volume came in, right, for the break of 15. There might have been a lot of sellers there, broke through, so that's when you get the alert, right? That big intense move is happening. So it alerts at 15, and look, this thing went all the way up to 1546. So the idea behind the scanners is to be early so that it gives you time, so you don't feel like, oh, it's alerting, I have to hurry up, so you don't just pull up the chart and hit short, right? Because it gives you time to pull up the chart. There's times where I'll pull it up and I'll be like, okay, it'll be right here. Say it alerts at 1490, which it very well could have. And I'm like, okay, well, I like this. I like the move it's making. It's got volume, but I want to see extension. So what that does is it gives me time because I'm never taking this trade unless it extends, right? So I can pull up the daily. All right, well, let's take a look at the daily. And I remember taking a look at the daily, and I remember seeing that there was resistance here going into a gap fill at 1550. And I remember that interested me because I said, okay, well, even if it does get into the gap fill, I have my 20 variable. I can scale into a trade. If it wants to fill the gap up here at 1630, so be it. Let's do it. But it never did. So I'm pretty positive. I didn't record this morning because I knew I wasn't going to do the recap. But I definitely could have. I know I had this line on my chart. So I was looking, because I remember pulling the daily up. So maybe it did alert a little under 15. I don't remember. And because I remember pulling the daily up and drawing that chart, I was like, oh, look, there's a gap fill. And I don't know. It was a good trade, right? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for key resistance areas. And in this case, it happened to be a gap fill opportunity. But that gap fill wasn't something crazy, right? It was only 75 cents, 80 cents. So if it wanted to do that, that's fine with me, especially after the move it made, right? It's moving in about 50-cent increments here. This one candle was a whole dollar, right? So if it wants to go up to 1630, that's really not unachievable. So it was very easily in the cards. So if it wanted to enter this gap fill on this move, and then think of what this looks like if it wants to go all the way up to 1630 on this same move. How crazy would that look? People would be euphoric as crap, right? They'd be like, this thing's going to the moon. Look at this thing. It won't stop. Well, what always happens after that? We all know what happens after that, right? So that's why I was okay, entering down here. I mean, even if it doesn't do that, I'm still happy with this trade. Obviously, fucking mosquito. How'd you get in here? Dead now. Try to suck my blood. I know I'm sweet and all, but damn. But you get the idea. If you do, at any point, if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, jump in, ask, let me know. Feel free to ask the hard questions. So speaking of hard questions, let's get back to Legends questions of top ticket re-NVAX. I couldn't short NVAX on CMEG. Yeah, they took those away from us. No problem, Gotham. Gotham says, ISW, the scanner rocks. Kudos to you and your dev team. It's helped me tremendously. That good old dev team doing all the work. So Legend's question was, tell us about your biggest losses and learning lessons from them. So if anyone's new here, you don't know, you might not know about MTSI and LYV and OCX. Those are basically the three defining trades of my trading career when it comes to losses. Give me one. I'm going to turn this fan on and refill my drink. AA, let me get back to that. Yeah, Brian, how's that data switch going? Did that actually happen? So I don't have any charts, I don't think. I wish I could go back. I actually soon I'll be able to. I'll give you a hint into my big news. No. You know what? I have them on YouTube though. Let's do that. The shrimp scampi is so good. I'm such a good cook. Pat myself on the back. I can never find it that way. And I know it's in the title. That's the part that annoys me. I have so much content, it's stupid. My emojis. Did I see 750 subs back here? Somewhere? Yeah, I've come a long way. It's crazy to think how, like, I could have never imagined I'd even be where I am now. As far as YouTube goes, it was more of just me trying to document my journey, but yeah, 200 subs just a year ago. And now we're at 2,300 or something like that. It's nuts. Where are you, MTSI? I think some people underappreciate the amount of effort that goes into this. So OCX, I know you guys probably can't see this. Let me minimize this. I don't really have a way to zoom in any further, but up here in the top left-hand corner is OCX. Maybe that helps. But when I first started my YouTube channel, I was actually still in the OCX trade, and I had 1,000 shares of this. And this bit, if OCX would have went like another 30 cents, I think it got to a key level. It was like $7 or $8. Let me see. It was like $7 or $8. If it would have got past that point, it would have blew my account. It was this day right here, January 29th. So $7. If it would have broke through $7 there, my account was gone. I was right at the blow up point, and thankfully it didn't. I was a deer in headlights. My average was somewhere down here. Here, I can actually tell you what it was in the video. It was 383, and I had 1,000 shares. So what's that? Now I'm curious. It got to 692 minus 383. So $3.09 times 1,000. I mean, you can do the math. $3,090. I was down at one point with a $5,000 account when I had started, but through commissions, fees, and just not being a profitable trader, I was down, I think, to like $3,500 or something like that. So, like I said, if that broke through 7 and had any kind of a little bit of a squeeze, yeah, I was done for. So, yeah, OCX was the first one. MTSI. Now, keep in mind, this right here, my very first video, this is when I joined ISW. And I believe CLF was my first trade ever watching Brian. Man, listen to that old mic. Oh, you guys can't hear it.
Go back before she wants to rip again.
Mike sounds a little different now.
She looks like she's struggling now.
And I used to call everything she. But yeah, you can see I got lucky. OCX came back, and even there, I still only had $2,500 in my account. But yeah, that was the very first trade I ever took, like looking at extension and using the scanners. Granted, I don't know if I got it. Let's see if I got it on the. No, I didn't have it over here on the minus I3 scan. Wonder why. I might have already had it up from previous. I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't have been up there. It might have already alerted. Like Brian said, it's designed to be early, so I might have pulled it up a little bit before that. All right, back to, let's find MTSI. So MTSI, this was after I was doing really well. Like if you go back from the CLF trade all the way to this MTSI trade, like if you really wanted to take the time to follow the journey, you'll see that, oh, it must be in here because I see moving the paper. Is there anywhere in here you see I lost 50%? Yep, here it is. So here's MTSI. Let me catch up, make sure I didn't miss anything. Any thoughts? Yeah, yes, futures and crypto are on the list. Ooh, shit. I'm about 3 weeks into using ISW. It has made a huge difference in my trading. That's what I'm talking about. You know, ISW isn't a miracle, right? It's basically just a way to get you to stop making dumb trades. Random trades equal random results. That's the key. So if you have a tool like the scanners to help you stop taking those random trades, that's what it's doing. There's a reason why using the scanners is like helping your trading, because what it's doing is it's helping you eliminate those random trades. Don't think the scanners themselves are going to just be some, holy grail, because they're not. You have to take the scanners and use them as a tool. So it's really a way to help you as a person get into the right mindset with each and every trade. And we were just having this discussion in chat today a little bit before I left about how every single trade that you take is a new trade. So like right now, I'm 32 out of my last 32, right? It's the longest win streak I've ever had. I think previously it was like 27 or 28 in a row. But right now I'm 32 out of 32. There is no part of my mind. Now, granted, back then I would think this all the time, but there is no part of my mind that's thinking, okay, every trade I take, I'm getting closer and closer to being due for a loss. That's not how this works. Every single trade is a new trade. How you approach that trade is totally on you. If you want to approach it with the mindset that this could be the one where you lose, well, go for it. But you're basically setting yourself up to lose because that's your mentality. But if every single time you're saying, okay, this trade's giving me a high probability of winning, I'm going to take it, then do it, right? You trade every single trade that gives you that setup and that high probability with your edge. That's all I'm doing. But there was, someone jumped in today and said, I'm on a green streak, I'm due for a loss. And, I did my best to step in. I got heckled quite a bit while trying to do this. But it's true. And I was using a deck of cards as an example. There's 52 cards in a deck. Every single time, if you have those same 52 cards, your chance of picking any one specific card is 1 in 52. So if you're trading the exact same setup every single time on each ticker that you pull up, your percentage of winning is going to be about the same every single time. So there's no I'm due to lose just because you're on a previous win streak. Let's use the roulette table as an example. You walk up to a roulette table and they have the screen, which is just pure bullshit. The last 20 rolls in a row were red. Well, black's got to be due. No, okay, so you're telling me every single time that red is the roll, there's 20 reds in a row. You're telling me that the odds of black rolling on that next one increases? Are you telling me that now there's like a 60% chance of black rolling instead of the 48.2 or whatever it is? Fucking green. No, it's the same every single roll, right? No matter how many times red hits in a row, you still have the same amount of percentage that black's going to hit every single roll. Same with flipping a coin, heads or tails. You could flip heads 20 times in a row. Does that mean that you're going to flip tail? Like, are you due to flip tails, or do you now have a 75% chance to flip tails just because heads hit 20 in a row? No, you still have 50%. So that's what the scanners are there for, right? This is that was kind of me going on a rant, but the scanners are there to get you to stop taking the less probable trades. It's designed to get you to take the high probable trades. So every single time you take these trades, you're putting yourself in the best situation possible to win. That's all it is. That's what the scanners do. They give you the best opportunities to play every single day. That's why I can wake up, I can get on at 9:25 in the morning, 5 minutes before the bell, and I can let the scanners show me what to play instead of wasting hours and hours looking at charts beforehand. That's what the Bearscan watch list is for. If you want, it's not even hours. You just pull up what the Bearscan watch list gives you, and it says, hey, here's a couple that might just die off at the open, and you can keep an eye on them. But yeah, that's not for me, at least not yet. Who votes ISW as a miracle? The float on OCX was a little bit lower. I mean, here, I can tell you. $57. So it's actually not even as low as I thought. I thought it was like 20. But that's what I'm saying. Like AA just said, the more I win, the more nervous I get. Don't. It's all in your head. There's no reason to be nervous just because you keep winning. You're winning for a reason. Just keep doing it. But I will. Hold on. Yeah, I agree. ISW is sick. At first I got it and let it sit for over a month. Then once I was shown the ropes, read some shit, and gave it an honest effort, it's a night and day difference. Yeah. MTSI and LYV are the reason I went off the reservation, as Brian would say. Yes, I went back and read the chat. Crispy kept bashing me. Nobody was like talking back to him. I wonder if he felt left out. I felt bad for him. Like, you guys were trying to have like a serious talk, and Crispy was trying to be funny and bash me. Nobody really paid him any mind. I use it to take probably 10 or 15 trades a day because I'm at the discovery stage of the strat. So far, my win rate has been over 80%, but I'm also cutting winners short. I mean, that's beautiful, man. I wish I took more trades, but like Brian always says, I use the Tim filter a lot, which we can talk about. But it's basically, I like to look for the best entries instead of just, looking for every entry. I let price action get extended nicely off the 8, then hop in, possibly add it if need be, and if it takes 3/4 back at the 8, the next target is the 21. So use the EMAs. I use the 9. I don't know what this is. I think it's probably the 9 too. But I use the 9 as kind of a guide as well, more so than VWAP. VWAP is nice, but VWAP can be a little tricky. It's a good overall extension monitor, but as far as the move itself, if you use the 9, at least in my personal experience, you can tell if it's a bit more grindy, a bit more linear, than if it's actually extending. So that's why I like to keep that on there. I mean, but someone like Brian who kills it every day, he doesn't use any of those. So, I mean, you can take it for what it's worth. I use it because it helps me like mentally see what I'm looking for, where Brian probably at one time maybe used something like that, but he's gotten so good that he doesn't need that anymore. But for me, I'm still trying to see it. So it helps me to, it's almost like training wheels in a way, right? The EMAs and VWAP and stuff like that, it's all training wheels. It's really not just riding your bike on 2 wheels, because like you don't need the training wheels, but at the same time, it helps. It helps you get to the point of being able to ride on just 2 wheels. I do vote ISW as a miracle, by the way. I'm just saying people shouldn't be like, oh, ISW's alerting, short or long, whatever, whatever side you're on. That's not how it's meant to be done. I love the scanners, almost miraculous. They are pretty nice, I'm not going to lie. The whole selling euphoria and buying panic really helped me understand. Yeah, buy fear, sell euphoria. I'm pretty sure it says that like on my main page. It's kind of like my motto. The one main thing I like about the scanner is instead of committing to one entry and either it works or it doesn't, I can take multiple entries and cast a wider net on my entry position. That's a good way to look at it. The wider net, that's a good analogy. I like it. One of my biggest issues with trading the way that I was, and as you can see with MTSI is not the approach I took, was on the fast moves, when I was doing just 1-1-2, it was tough for me. Because if you're early, like, let me pull out my little drawing tools, because MTSI is not a very good Actually, let me just do this. Let's go to LAUR. So let's get rid of these lines. Say this was really extended already right here. Say we got our first entry, like, I don't know. Say we got it here for some stupid reason. Act like it was all the way down here. This was just our first. Well, we'll just go. Say this is our first entry, and this continues. Right? Let's pull this out. It'll just be easier. So say this keeps going like this, and then finally starts to come down. Whatever. So say we start here, we get an add here, and then we get a second add here, right? And actually, let's do this. Say it starts to come down here, and then we get the old pop back through like this. Okay, so that'll be good. What was happening is, say we got 1, 1, 2, right? It starts to come down, consolidates a little bit, and then goes higher. Well, right there, we're already full size, 1, 1, 2. So if this wants to rip higher, that's pretty hard to hold on to, right? You're full size, and you're letting this thing get away from you. So the plan was always to cut if that happened at high of day, right? But the problem was I was taking so many max losses because the whole point of getting 112 is that's your full size. So if you're full size and it goes high of day and stops you out, that's usually going to be a max loss for any given trade. And so basically what was happening is if you were early, like too early on any given trade, I was taking those losses. And it's not that it happened that often, but what I was also running into as a problem is I would top tick a lot, like this. Like if we take all that away and all this away, I mean, this was basically a top tick. So if I'm only getting one entry out of my 4 variable, 1, 1, 2, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, and plus 2 is 4. That's your 4 variable. If I'm only getting one entry, I'm not making that much compared to when I get full size and stop out. I'm losing a lot, right? So it just wasn't profitable for me. So some people make it work. A GDT makes it work. He uses 112 all the time. He makes it work. For me, I was having an issue where if I'm early, I lose. Like I always lose. There's no, what ifs. GDT can become a little lenient sometimes where he'll let it continue again and he'll hit it for an extra add for, whatever he sees in the chart. And I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact of knowing that I could go 1, 1, 2, and then maybe 2 again, because I was already full size at 1, 1, 2. So now you're telling me I'm looking to add even more on top of that, risking even more. And then what if that consolidates up there and continues? Then what? Now you're risking your account on any one trade, right? You're going to the point of saying, I want to win on this trade so bad that I'm willing to risk my account. And so I started to really, really ponder to myself, well, how can I try to win more on these ones where I'm early without blowing up my account? That was the simple question. And basically what it comes down to is just what was staring me in the face since February of 2019 when I started trading with ISW. And that was Brian. It was staring me in the face this entire time. It took a year and a half for me to really let that light bulb light up over my head. Like it just took that long. I had to go through the process. I had to go through and I had to see these things on my own. I had to understand that if I do this, it's not going to work. If I do this, it's not going to work. If I do this, it works for someone else, but it's not working for me because I have a different emotional mindset. I don't have as much of a risk tolerance. If I do this, it doesn't work. Wait a minute. Well, if I just do this, which he's been doing this whole time, and it clearly works, would it work for me? Let's find out. And that's what I'm doing right now. 32 for 32. And it's working. I've never once felt emotionally drained from a trade. It's all felt very natural. Is it going to continue? We're going to find out, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not stopping. It just feels right. But what did I do? I took the 4 variable and I turned it into 20. So yeah, there's going to be some smaller wins, but there's going to be way less losers. And even when you do lose, let's use ORCL. Was it ORCL? No, it was OSUR as an example. A lot of people think, well, when you do lose, it's going to be a huge loss. No, that's not the case. Take OSUR for an example here. If I did end up cutting this, if you guys remember earlier, I'd said I had 3 options in my head here. When this was clearly going to break this high of day. We missed our add up here, so we didn't get out of the position here. So when it worked its way back up here, we said, okay, one of 3 things is going to happen. It's either going to break high of day and it's going to squeeze, which is what it did. It's going to break high of day and it's going to be a fake out and it's going to come back down, or it's going to break high of day and it's going to try to consolidate, use this as support, and move higher. So thankfully, we got the squeeze, we got our add, and we got the pullback, and we had a green trade, right? But there was no problem if we cut this right here as it went high of day. There's no problem with a cut here. And this is probably more of a typical loss. Even if we did get an add here, even if we had 2 entries, or even if we added here where we did, it consolidates and goes higher, that's okay. We had 2 entries out of 20 variable, right? 1, 1. That would have been a 1 and a 1, which is what it was. And if it breaks high of day here, that's literally just 2 out of our 20. That is not going to break the bank. That is not going to be some huge loss to wipe out all your gains. I'm pretty sure it would have been not even like 2% of what we've made so far out of the other 31 trades. So it wouldn't even have been close. But everyone thinks that when you finally do lose trading like this, that's going to be some huge loss. Yeah, it could be. They're going to happen every once in a while. Ask Brian. They happen. DXC. But what the heck is this? What is this? To the long side? Like over here? You sure this is the right chart? But yeah. All right, let me catch up while Brian explains himself with this DXC. The one thing oh yeah, we already read that. Biggest loss today, 46,000? What? You lost 46,000 today? Tell me that's not true. And tell me it's on paper. The accuracy of the alerts are on a miracle level. Yeah. There's Brian's been saying it a lot lately. There's a reason he does what he does. And I keep telling Brian to make the scanners private so less people will learn how to do this. I don't want to shift the markets. Yeah, biggest challenge for me was not getting into early. Same with me, Caleb. How I fix that? Look for extension. If it's to where you're like, is this thing gonna stop? That's probably a good spot to enter. But yeah, I use the trend line too. I like using the trend line. It just helps. How much money has Brian made? I don't know. A lot. He never. I don't think since I've been with ISW he's had a red day. So now it's 1122448. I think the last one's a 6, but yeah, it is what it is. That's what I've been using. I really like the idea of the 1122 at least, and then if I need the 4s, I'll get there, and then it leaves me with a 6. Right? 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 4 is 14, and then yeah, 20 minus 14 is 6. So the DXC was one that stopped out half and then recovered some of the loss. Learned a lot on that one. I still don't see what you guys are talking about on DXC. Was it earlier in the week? Was it this move? Trading is one of those things that can be explained to you but not understood for you. I have that one written down. I love that saying, and on top of that, it always reminds me of the saying I use a lot, where you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. kind of the same thing. Yep, seat time and failure. Those are two. It's really what it comes down to, is finding your own way. That's why a lot of people, that's why they say 90% don't make it, is because 90% don't give it enough time and effort. Is it safe to say that you are leaning more towards win rate than expectancy win versus loss? I would assume you would be taking smaller wins and bigger losses compared to those wins. I mean, that's what everyone thinks, but it's not always true. There's going to be times like when you scale into a trade, 11224, and that thing works out, you're going to have some size for when it works. So that's going to be a bigger winner. And by scaling into it, it allowed you not to take a loss in the trade and turn it into a winner. So instead of just thinking, I turned this into a winner instead of a loss, think of the swing from saying, instead of it being a $100 loser, it was only a $20 winner. That's actually a $120 winner if you really want to think about it. Like if you want to get technical. You can only understand by doing it and controlling your emotions. Yeah, emotions are definitely the big thing. We were not wired to trade this way. We were not wired to basically bet against the grain. So that's really what it comes down to, is learning how to do that. DXC on September 2nd. Okay, so we got to scroll back a little. Did I trade this? September 2nd. I did. This was actually a big winner for me. A bigger winner. Oh, this is the one. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. This is the one that I finally said I was looking for the test. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a beautiful example. All right, hold on. So this was my chart for DXC. This is actually perfect. So look how early I was, right? So if I would have started this 112, right? That's my 112. It comes down a little bit and then goes higher. Well, I'm full size there with the 112. I have to stop, and I was. This is what I was doing. I would start 112, and then if it went past that point, I had to stop out, and it would suck because I was full size. And then if I wanted to, I could restart the trade. And sometimes I would, and I would top ticket, but with just my first entry. So then I would never make back what I lost. So it just wasn't working for me. But now, and you'll see I even grouped a trade together here, I grouped an ad here. I had an ad actually next to one of these because it went up, it found a top, and started to come back down. And I added to it, trying to get some more size for the move down. Because, I mean, look at this extension, right? Let me pull out this guy. I mean, the extension is from there. Look at this move. Crazy move, right? So we get 1, 2, 3. This was 4, 5, 6. 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4. Right? So we actually still had that 6. We had it left. It was still there. Or if we wanted to break it up, however, if you wanted to just hit another 4, however you wanted to do it, right? You can break that 20 up, that 20 variable, however you want. But this was perfect, right? What was our average on this? Oops. Our average ended up being 2161. No, it was 2175. I remember we just did this. I did this last Friday. It was 2175 because I remember we took some off right at our break even because if you looked, it made a huge move down and it started to hold support here. Now, as you can see, it did start to bounce. And I remember taking half off because I said, well, we got some pretty good size here. I don't want to let this go back against me. So imagine if we still had full size and it just continued down to this area here, it would have been an even bigger winner. Like this was actually my biggest winner to date. And that's what I'm saying. If we would have been doing 112 here, this is just me personally. Like I said, 112 works, but for me it wasn't working because if I was early, I would take these losses and then I would get back in and I wouldn't even make back probably half of what I lost. So that was the issue I was running into. But now, instead of chalking up a loser here, I could still add to it, and now it became a winner. So erase this loser, add this winner, and now that's a pretty big swing, right? It's a big swing overall. And that's what I love about this. Is and the thing is, I'm taking the same risk. So if I was risking $100 with 4 variable, now I'm taking that same $100 and risking it with 20. So instead of starting with 25 shares, I start with 5. So I'm taking the same risk. I'm not saying, okay, I'm still starting with 25. I'm just doing a 20 variable now, because if I did that, it would be 25 times 20. So I'd be risking $500 instead of 100, which is a no-go, right? So I'm risking the same exact thing. I'm just breaking it up different. I'm giving myself the option of a stock doing this, because there are going to be times where you're early. But if you can keep your average up, and that's the key point to this is, let's scroll out of here. So the key thing to this is, I guess I could have just done it this way, but I had my arrows there, so that's nice. The key thing to this move is, as it's going up, you're always going to have a 50% line. So after this candle where we entered, our 50% line was right around here. After it makes this move, the 50% line is now right about here. After it makes this next candle, moves up just a little bit. Actually, there's a better way to do this. So, just for the sake of this, come on, click, config. I'm actually not going to do that because I think it changes it for everything. I don't want to do that. So 50% line right there, right? Then as it comes up to here, now the 50% line moves with it. Then up to here. Oops, let's move the whole thing. And it moves up to there. Then all the way up to the top, moves up to here. So the whole goal, as this is making its move, right? If it's all one continuous fast move, keep your average above that 50% line. Because the odds are, over the next 30 minutes, it's going to come down and try to test it. It happens a lot. Was I impatient with sizing into this and then taking out half of my position at my average? Yeah. Little, the risk tolerance thing coming back into play, right? I don't want to let this go back to high of day and have to take a bigger loser. So if I take off 50% of my position, if it does go up now, it's less risk. But on the way down, it turns it into a smaller winner as well. But at the same time, it's still a winner. So that's my ideology behind that. But again, 50% line. Did it come down and touch it? Sure did. It came down and touched it, actually went through a little bit, and then kind of did its thing. But that's the whole point. Throughout a big fast move like this, my goal is to keep my average over that 50% line. If you remember, it started down here. The 50% line was all the way down here. But as the move continues, it moves itself up, right? So that's kind of the goal, is with the 1, 1, 2. If you can, because if you 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 it, your average is not going to move up as far. But if you can put yourself in a position where you can 1, 1, 2, now if these were all ones, your average is still going to be somewhere like down here. But if you 1, 1, 2, now your average is going to be like somewhere up here, right? So it's a big difference. And that's why I do it that way. Ooh. Sorry, my back is like... So Gotham says 11224 is assuming you got in early enough to have those ads, but if you top ticket and it goes lower, it's going to be a pretty small win. Yes, that is the truth, but think of it this way. You only get one entry and you top ticket. That's basically a free trade, right? If you do it to the point where you're scaled up and say you're starting a trade like this and you get the move like to here, that's 70 cents. So if you're even using 100 shares, like some people think 100 shares is minute, right? That's $70. So that was a free $70 basically, just because you top ticked it. I mean, obviously, this is saying you top ticked and covered at that exact point. Right. It's just an example. But that's nothing to laugh at, right? $70 is $70. I mean, and it took you how long? What, 5 minutes, 6 minutes? So if you're gonna, that's the other thing people get caught up on a lot. People ask me all the time, how are these trades? You're only taking 5 shares. You're only taking 20 shares. You're only taking 40 shares. Whatever it is, how are you making money? How are you paying for your fees and commissions? I give them the same. I've given the same answer over and over again. I'm not. I'm paying for those out of pocket at the moment, whether it's with my affiliate money, my umpire money, whatever it is. I'm taking the time to learn how to do this consistently without risking my account, so that when I do scale up, I know the strategy works. Right now, I'm building a strategy and confidence in my edge, so that when I do scale up, all my charts are going to look the exact same. It's just going to be a higher share size. And who cares? Because that's not what matters, right? It's the chart that matters. You're trading the chart regardless of your share size. I could be using 5,000 shares, maybe, depends on the ticker, but I could be using 500 shares instead of 50 shares, and nobody would mention a damn thing about commissions if I was doing that, right? They'd look at the chart and they'd be like, "Oh, great trade," instead of, "How are you paying for commissions and fees and stuff?" Like, I usually when I make that point, people are like, "Oh, okay, I got you." But it's like I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but unfortunately, some people just have to hear it in order for them to, I guess, let it click in their head. But hopefully that answers your question there, little Gotham. Yeah, it's going to be a small win, but it's basically a free win. So take it, right? Make the most out of it. And move on to the next one. If the market wants to give you a free $70 here and there, and granted, like I said, that's just with 100 shares, take it. Move on. That Brian even just said this earlier too, and I say it all the time. Base hits win baseball games, right? Base hits. Not, home runs are for the fans. Just like Brian said. The home runs are for the fans. Home runs do not win baseball games. I mean, they do every once in a while, obviously. But home runs are not going to win you a World Series. They're not. It just isn't going to happen. Look at Mark McGwire. Look at Sammy Sosa. Look at all the big Barry Bonds. Look at all the big home run hitters. Their teams didn't really ever win World Series. But everyone loved watching them because they hit home runs all the time. Who cares? I'm here for the long haul. I'm here to hit base hits. I'm here to be Ichiro. I want to be Ichiro, Pete Rose, all them guys. They're the guys that helped win championships. So I'll leave it at that. If you know baseball, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, CW said they add up. It's true. All the base hits add up. You're not wrong at all, Gotham. The starter needs to be worth it on its own, but I make the most money on the ones that put up a fight. So yes, single entries are small wins, but they are also risk-free. I didn't even read that, and that was basically exactly what I said. See, I'm starting to get this thing. I like using a trend line on starting at the beginning of an intense move, looking for price action to break the trend, then push to a new high if shorting, hopefully exhausting all the buyers. I mean, yeah. Like I said, I use, like you can see, the blue line here is the 9, the white is the VWAP. So when it starts to get extended from the VWAP, it's a good indicator it's getting extended. But to me, the 9 is a really good indicator as well, because let me see, I'm pretty sure one of my trades today was kind of a grinder. No, it wasn't. It must have been this one. Well, it started to be OSUR. So look at how OSUR started, right? It was nice and extended away from both. But as it had this pullback and went higher, look at how close the 9 got to it. It started to become a little bit of a grinder. So I gave it one more chance to extend itself, which it did. And then I gave it one more chance to come back, and it did. And then look at what it did. It just rode the 9. It's amazing. It really is amazing to me how much the 9 actually does kind of work a little bit. And it's something, like I said, I don't use it for this purpose. I just use it as more of a visual guideline of how extended it might be, because I can't tell you how many times I've pulled up a chart where it looks really extended from VWAP, but if you throw the 9 on there, it's just riding the 9, just like this. So look how extended this is from VWAP, right? Which it is. But I've seen charts like this where they just kind of do this, right? And they just ride this 9 the entire way. Granted, this one didn't do it, so it's a bad example. But again, there is something to watching this for an extension. And I mean, look, every time it tried to extend itself away from this line, look what happened. It came right back to it every single time. So there's definitely some merit there. Now, VWAP is the more macro move, right? That's kind of what the scanner's looking for. 30 minutes from now, where's this move going to be? Well, it's probably going to come back down and test where the alert was, right? Which is exactly what it did. It alerted down here, and look, 30 minutes later, it was right around there. Granted, this was probably one of more of those 20% where it ended up higher. But again, that's where it comes in. If you scale into your position, you play it right, you don't have to worry about that. See, I think my hesitation would be in how to manage those trades that consolidate the move higher. Gotham, that's me. That my biggest issue is that, but I'm getting a lot better at it. I found that if it only consolidates for a few minutes and goes higher, I'm okay with it. I used to not be at all. I used to just give it this one candle, and then if it went higher, I was done with it. But now I'm starting to realize the more macro move instead of the micro moves. So I'm starting to see, okay, well, this thing's still pretty extended. I'll give it a shot. Now, keep in mind, I told you that if it didn't squeeze like this, I probably was going to be done with it if it wasn't a fake out. If it was a fake out, right, my entry wasn't that great, I was probably looking to break even here. But if it wanted to go through and, you know, start to consolidate here and use this as support, I was definitely going to end up cutting it. So thankfully it worked out. But again, if this would have ended up being a loss, just like you're saying a single entry is a smaller winner, this would have been a single entry, right? It would have still been a pretty small loser. So not every loser is going to be huge. Like everyone thinks it's either, you know, you win small or you lose big, and that's just not the case. Yeah, just like Brian just said, it needs to be a continuous move. If it consolidates without the retrace, need to be looking for other options, reduce, punch out. Yeah, exactly. Which is exactly what I did. I told you guys, in the moment, I was thinking cut. But I said, you know what? It did squeeze pretty hard off of this bottom here. Let's see what it does at that point. If it squeezes some more, I'm game, right? I'm game, looking for it to continue, right? Because we only had one entry here, and we had plenty of room, and it was still extended. So if it wanted to give us that big, fast move, so be it. Let's get it. Unfortunately, it didn't. I actually wanted, if it was going to keep going, I wanted more. I wanted it to go up to like 12, right? And we could have got that 2, so 112, and it would have brought our average up even more, and we would have still been looking for something down here, at least at this previous resistance. But take what you can get. That's the other thing in the market. Take what the market gives you. Don't think just because VWAP's down here that it's going to come to VWAP. Don't always use like VWAP as your take profit. Don't always use previous resistance as your take profit. Like if you start to get good at reading price action, start to read the price action. Start to feel where the support's forming. Start to see where the resistance is forming. You need to, that's part of this. It's not, if you're going to get into this type of trading, it's not all about just key levels. It's not all about just hitting the button when ISW tells you to. A lot of it has to do with being able to read the charts, feel the price action. And you'll see Brian all the time, like he likes to be early because once he's in the trade, he can start to actually feel the price action a little bit more because now he's invested, right? Not invested, you know what I mean? Like he's in the trade, so he's paying more attention to it now. Right? He's starting to feel the price action. He's starting to see how it feels. What's it doing? Does it feel squeezy? Does it feel like it's finding support? Does it feel like it's toppy? Does it feel heavy? Right? And you start to hone in a little bit more on those skills when you're actually involved in the trade versus just sitting on the sidelines watching the trade because you're not actually focused on the trade itself. Do you keep the scale in plan or commit to more to a move that's not in an intense move? I'm not sure I understand that. Do you keep to the scale and plan or commit to more to a move that's not an intense move? I mean, I don't really play anything that's not an intense move. That was one of my issues before, is I was taking the more safe plays. And I found out over time that those are your grinders, right? The ones that are extended, but they weren't fast, they're the ones that are grinding. And that's what I was trying to tell you. Throwing that 9 in there is actually what really helped me realize that. Because I can see the grinders a little bit easier. Like to me, look at this. This is just grinding higher. Not until this candle here did it make any sort of fast movement. This is all just grind. It's linear, right? It's all just linear to that 9 right there. Where, I mean, look at this move, right? Look how fast this move happened compared to this move here, right? What is this doing? And then what is this doing? It's two completely different moves. Jeez, I didn't realize I was that far behind. I thought you guys stopped talking, but I just realized I was that far behind. Continuous move meaning consecutive candles, or can one red pullback be ignored? Oh yeah, it can definitely be ignored. A lot of times you won't even see pullbacks. A lot of times they'll all happen in one candle. Like this candle, for instance, like this could have went to 1154. It could have went all the way down to 1134 and then all the way back up to where it closed at 1148, right? So again, if you start focusing on any one candle, you start to kind of miss the overall move. So you really kind of have to keep in mind that it's more of the big picture, right? So try to step out. That's why I always used to yell at Brian because his charts look so small, because he would have them zoomed out like this. But now I can't not look at them like this because I see the bigger picture now, right? I see, like, look at how extended this looks compared to where it was trading, right? That's pretty extended. So in order for it to withstand this move, it's going to take a lot of buyers stepping in, and that's kind of what you're looking at. I think if it makes the move, then forms an ascending triangle, need to be looking for exits. It is purely part of the 20% that don't work. And that's exactly how I felt here with OSUR. It felt like an ascending triangle, right? It came up, and then it found support right here. You can clearly see the support was formed here at 1146. It kept trying to get back through 1150 and bought right back through 1150. And I was like, okay, it's making higher lows. It's found, a top. This is an ascending triangle. So I knew, like I said earlier, I knew that this move was coming. Well, I didn't know it was going to come like this, but I knew it was most likely, highly probable, going to break this area. What it did when it broke this area is what determined what I was doing with the rest of this trade. I only had one entry, so I was able to do this. I was able to say, I'm going to give myself options. Now, if I had done like 1122 up until this point, and I didn't get anything out here, now we're talking 100% cut at high of day, right? I have too much invested. I mean, even then, it's still not a ton, but it's enough to say, okay, if this continues, I'm not really interested anymore. But since I only had one entry, I still had room to really smash this thing if it wanted to run. So I wasn't really that upset about it. And keep in mind, like, this is a 1. I could restart this if it wants to make a move and really extend itself right with a 2 or even a 3, right? So instead of going 1 and then 1, like if it ran up here, I could have a 1 and then like a 3, and that's going to bring my average way up, right? So there's different ways to play that. But again, now we're starting to get more into like an advanced type of class, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But get a drink. I really wish I had one of them Teslas for this trip. Just set it and forget it. Yeah, I mean, the 3-4 candle consolidation and reducing risk, I mean, it works, but when I bring up MTSI, I'll show you why that could not be the best idea. You might be better off just cutting it. I think if it makes a move, then forms, yeah, I just read that. Maybe the DT breakdown, yep. And the move, in my opinion, doesn't have a pause in it. There is no red bars, but I use the 2-minute chart, so there could be some red 1 minute faster bars in there. The 2-minute really has helped me as well. It makes you not worry about the noise as much. There's so much noise in the 1 minute chart. It's ridiculous. I used to trade on the 1 minute, and I would get chopped out of so many trades because I'd be so hyper focused on the chart in the 1 minute. That's like these other gurus that use like 10-second charts and stuff. I'm just whatever. I don't know. I'm not even gonna get into that. Jag, why the 2 minute versus the 1 minute? Well, there you go. I just answered it. I want to be in a position where my average price is above that resistance. In the event it tests it and goes higher, I can take profit on the retest. Yeah, that's a very good plan. And I always say that. I used to say this all the time. When it goes through a previous resistance and extends itself away, the odds are before it decides to either continue or fade the rest of the day, it's going to test that and try to use it as support. And I've always said that. It's like one of the main things that I look for myself. And that's why I always like to look for extension away from that previous resistance, because the further you get away from it, the better odds you have of that thing getting ready to reverse or retrace a little bit. Triple exponential moving average set as candles. No, I don't want them. That sounds like too much. That's like Devin in the Discord. Sometimes he shows his charts and he's got all like the 9, the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200, and I'm just like, okay. But it works for him, right? There's thousands of different ways to make money in the market. Find what works for you. I use 9 and 50 EMAs as well as VWAP. Yeah, see? So a lot of people use different things. It's whatever works for you. Like I said, I wouldn't use either of these if I didn't have to, but I still feel like I kind of need them to see what I'm looking for. Bollinger Bands, I used to use those as well. There's some truth to the Bollinger Bands. It really lets you see a move that's extended, but eventually once you use the Bollinger Bands for a while, you'll start to see that VWAP it's obviously the middle of the Bollinger Bands. So you really start to just kind of see where the Bollinger Bands would be anyway. So it's really not something that I feel is a necessity. Aw, my mom's telling me have a safe trip. I use a 2 minute just because it is what I'm used to. I think you can see the move on a 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute. It just depends on what you're proficient with. Yeah, no, I agree. You can use whatever time frame you like, but I personally found myself not liking the 1 minute because it's too much traffic. And then I even tried the 3 minute at one point, and to me it just felt too slow. And I don't know, the 2 minute just works. So that's why I use it. I've seen them, but I've never traded with 3x EMA. I don't even know what that is, so to be completely honest. Trying to cut the loser 3 averages in is hard to do, though, so I'd probably end up keep adding, even though I know I shouldn't. Well, didn't I just tell you this? Go from 4 to 20 variable? Then you can. And not feel guilty about it. You're using the same risk. I agree. I'm used to seeing price action on the 1, 5, etc., and then the 2 tripped me out a little. We'll revisit in the future. Yeah, just like anything, it takes a while. Big difference between add, and scaling in. Yep, one respects the risk and your trading rules. The other loses control of the trade. Maybe Tim will talk about that aspect. It's very true. You become a deer in headlights. And I just talked to you about this, AA. But yeah, the difference between adding to a loser versus scaling into a position, like, let's step back and think about that for a sec. When I'm scaling into a position, that's planned. When you're adding to a loser, that's somebody hoping that the trade works. Can you see how those are two completely different things? When I'm scaling into a position, I'm saying, hey, I'm expecting this might go higher, So I have planned additional position size to add to this to scale into the position to make it work. When you're already in a position and you weren't planning on scaling into it, but yet you start adding to it because it's losing and you don't want it to lose, that's you hoping that the trade works out and you become a deer in headlights because you're in no man's territory. You don't know where you are. You don't know what to do at this point, so you're just adding to a loser. Those are two completely different things. Completely different. Like, really step back and think about it. People are like, oh, you're just adding to losers. I'm like, no. I planned to be able to add to this position. This was a planned event. I am scaling into my position. It is not I am in a loser because it's going against me. I would say 95% of the time when you enter a position on the front side like this, you're going to be red, at least temporarily. Like, it's just part of the strategy. It's how the edge works. And if you can't handle that, then so be it. But that's what the strategy is. Whether you want to risk $100 all in one entry, or if you want to risk $100 scaled over several entries, what's the difference, right? It's all in how you get to your risk parameters that matters. It's not, let's risk $100 on one entry. It's not working, so now let's risk another $100. That's adding to a loser. But if you have $100 and you break it down and you scale in over 1 to 10 entries, that's a completely different score. Completely different story. You're scaling into that position. So hopefully that answers that question. They're two completely different things. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and charge a monthly scanner fee. Vincenzo. Tim thinks he can just leave us and go on vacation like that. Hey, I mean, I wasn't even going to do tonight's stream, but I found a way to make it work for you guys because I love you guys. Enrique will be guest hosting. Hey, we could have set that up. Do you want me to send you the TEMA candles? Set them to 50. Is that like a study? Is that? Here they are. T3MA. So T3 moving average. Period number? Set the period number to 50? Now I'm just curious what they look like. I've never heard of this before. There's a volume factor and a period number. Yeah, okay. So why are we changing this to 50? Why not leave it at 10? So what is this doing exactly? Is it using the last 50 candles? I bet I can figure out if that's the case if I change it back to 10. Yep. So it's using the last 50 candles. So really this just kind of looks like almost like a RSI or MACD type thing. What do you mean it's not the right one? It literally says TEMA. It's the like if you did plan on scaling in and it consolidates 3 ads, and I'd always freeze up. Oh, right. Well, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a problem I had, was always getting that last ad. And so with 112, it was really hard for me because I would get the 1-1, and then knowing that the 2 was going to be my last ad, it was hard for me to hit the button sometimes because if it keeps going, that's it. Like, I don't have any more ads. So that was a huge emotional hardship for me. I couldn't emotionally get past that. So being able to break that down a little bit more, it's been a lot easier to handle. Like knowing I can go 1-1-2 and then hit 2 again and then 4 and then 4. Like it's such a big difference. Like knowing I can do that. Yeah, that's not the right one. The one on TOS. Well, I don't have TOS. I mean, I do. I really feel like I'll load it up because DOS is actually in 10 minutes getting ready to crap out on me anyway. Gonna run tonight's stream is super choppy for me. Interesting. Team ISW, thanks for the insight. Appreciate your time and explaining some things to me. Yeah, of course, man. Always here to answer questions. And hit me up on the Discord. I won't be checking my Discord and stuff throughout the day next week. But if you do have any questions, same with Twitter. I will be, just checking in on things at night before bed. But throughout the day, I plan on going rogue, just going MIA, spend time with the kids and the family. No need for the phone during the day when everyone's awake, etc. I don't even remember my password, to be completely honest. Got it. It's like Trump. You're fired. You're buffering big time on my end. I can't get a good stream even at 480p. Catch you next week. What the heck? Hello? Let's see if that worked. Hopefully it doesn't restart the whole stream. There we go. Let me know if that fixes it a little bit. I didn't even realize I was on my VPN. Sometimes that'll kind of not be good to us. I haven't used Thinkorswim in quite some time. What chart did we have up here? OSUR. This thing was actually pretty cool. It was like an adaptive view app. It uses the view app based on not just the current day, but like whatever time frame you have up. I always thought that was kind of cool. 2 minute. Yeah, so like, oops. So like it's using the view app, and it keeps the view app there based on the full time period that you have up. Did that fix it? Hopefully. Jeff, what's up, man? Move this up just a tad. There we go. All right. So what am I looking for here? Boits. I don't even know. Edit studies somewhere in here. I haven't used this in quite some time. Let's see. T's. Tima. Apply. Or add. Set to 50. Okay. Apply. Let me change the color. Actually, I wish there was a way to just like turn these off without actually getting rid of them. Let's see, color, let's do white since we don't have anything else on there as white. Actually, let's change view app to white since that's what it usually is. And then we'll make this blue. Let's do a darker blue. Alright, let's zoom in here. I thought that I got a whole control. That's right, okay. Alright, so what am I looking at here? Does that look better? Miguel. I'm assuming you weren't here not even like 20 minutes ago. So, Boits, what are you looking at here? Are you just using it to see extension? Like, what is it actually reading? Like I said, I wonder, does it tell you? Let's see, edit. So sometimes it'll tell you if you view. So it's exponential average. 1, 2, 3. So 3 EMA minus 3 times EMA 2 plus EMA 3. Which EMAs is it using though? just fit. I just don't understand why the 50. Like if you have it set to the 10, and this is why I don't like certain things, is because you change it to 50 where the default's 10, so it's like, I mean, yeah, when it's 10 that just looks useless. Where is it? Below 50 bear, above bull. Well, that doesn't do me any good. What about when it's choppy on it? For 100 win streak? When did I say that? And there's no set with the ads either. So what do you do when you run into something? There went my DOS. Let me just exit out of that. So what do you do, Boits, when it does something like this? So you think it's bearish. So say you get in on like this pop here, but then it comes down, doesn't really give you, but then it starts to go higher and it goes above that line. Then what? Because it was clearly a fake out too. Are you stopping out? Are you using that as your stop loss as well? Paired with support and resistance, yeah. I don't know. It's a little too complicated for me. But again, the old me would have probably been all over it. Would have ate this thing up with a spoon, been like, "Ooh, you're on to something," or whatever. Like I would have definitely looked into it. But I'm such like just keep it simple, stupid kind of person now, where I feel like just so many things have to line up for something like this to work. I don't know. Like I can see how it can be simple. Like above it, it's a bull, above, below, and then you just use support resistance kind of thing. But I don't know. To me, just using support resistance would work just as well. I mean, I don't feel like you even need this line in here. So Miguel, to answer your question legitimately, like I've answered 100 times at this point, I trade with low size because I'm trying to become consistent. That's the short answer. So if you're trading a strategy that you're still trying to become consistent with, would you purposely risk your account while doing so if you aren't sure if you can be consistent with that strategy? Or would you rather use smaller size so in case it doesn't work, you're not risking your account? Like, I mean, that's really the best way I can put it without like trying to be like, I don't know any other easier way to put it. So I'll just leave it at that. Let me send you the code for the candles. Now there's code for the candles? Well, I think I'm going to give this about another 15 minutes because I need to start getting the car packed because we're planning on leaving at 1. So I want to make sure that I don't fall behind on schedule. So 12:15, I'm going to get out of here. So go ahead, send me the code. I'll take a look. I don't really have anything else to talk about. If anybody has any questions about anything that we talked about tonight, feel free to chime in. Let me know. Appreciate Brian for being here since we were talking about the scanners a little bit. I'm going to go grab a drink while you send me that. Let me know where you're sending it because I don't see anything on Discord. We're going to Myrtle Beach for the week. We live in Maryland. Usually we just go to Ocean City. But we decided to change it up a little bit, which it's probably, I mean, obviously we actually had this planned before the Rona happened. So it kind of sucks, but they weren't willing to refund us our money. So we just said that we're going to go down and do what we've been doing anyway, which is just keep to ourselves. Like we're going with her parents. It's me, the wife, the 2 kids, and her parents. And they've kind of been in the circle of people we've been seeing anyway throughout all of this. So it's not like a big deal. We rented a house. It's right on the beach. So we're just going to go down, buy our food, and go to the beach, like keep to ourselves and, just enjoy a different area, enjoy the company, enjoy the week off just from everything. And, yeah, so something on Twitter. But yeah, so I won't be here next week, so you won't see any videos. Maybe I'll do like a live stream during the day while you guys are trading of me on the beach, just soaking in some of the sun, if there is. It's supposed to be cloudy like all week. Why is this not? Oh, there it is. I was like, why is it not coming up? Oh, so I have to enter one of these things. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Edit, study, create. This is giving me an error. It's giving me an error for this. Brian being the moderator, like and subscribe, y'all. Even using the Baltimore words, y'all. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it says it's not going to work. I don't see any change. Settings. There we go. Edit sources. There we go. All right, what's going on, boys? I copy pasted. It's not working. Try this one. The whole thing doesn't work. Oh, no, still the same thingamajigger. Assign price color if close. Is it leaving something out when you copy paste it? Like, do you see something that's missing? Because sometimes when you copy paste, because I feel like there should be, like, this doesn't make sense how there's like there's like spaces here, which is kind of weird. Like, does it look different when you paste it? Fail, boys. Fail. It's a huge party fail. We could totally be talking about something else, like how I like to poop in the mornings, or how I kind of need to poop now, how I'm going to go get some more tea. Figure it out. I just realized you probably can't even see like that part of it. There you go. Sorry, I was getting a little descriptive. No name. I'm like getting tranced by your avatar there, sending me in circles. Ooh. What was I gonna say? Oh. Yeah, speaking of that, I was gonna say, for some sad news, my oldest dog is getting really old. He's 13, and he's a pug. I have 2 pugs, and their life expectancy is like 12 to like 16. But he's kicking along. He's fine. He did go deaf, but I mean, every other part of him is completely fine. But then we have another pug who is 9. And she had this thing start growing like over top of her eye. And so we finally took her to the vet today. Like, it just started like a week and a half ago. And we were kind of seeing if maybe it was like a really bad pimple or something. But it kept getting worse. So we finally took her in today and got the bad news that it's a tumor. and they're trying to see if it's, you know, the kind that is just like by itself, or if it's one that is part of a bigger issue. And yeah, so we're a little sad with that. And I mean, she seems fine. Like, she doesn't seem like she's sick or anything, but yeah, it was not the best news to get right before going on vacation. But I mean, she seems fine. She's right. She's always at my feet. She's a dedicated daddy's girl for sure. She got fat, I'll tell you that. Kim, what's up? How many times do I have to tell you guys I'm going on vacation? You guys don't watch my videos or anything? As Brian would say, you make videos? I said it in every video this week. And in Discord. I even said it today while you were in Discord. Yes, I'm going on vacation next week. All next week. I will not be here. So I did not blow up. I am just on vacation. Boyts, you figure this thing out yet? Oh, wait. I don't know what that link is or why it's there. Oh, so you're saying this isn't even supposed to be here? Alright, let's try getting rid of it, see what happens. So, what am I looking at now? Wait, oh, is that this pink line? That wasn't there before, was it? Aha, it is. Let's make this light blue so we can see. So now what? Now you're doing like a crossover thing? There's another code? Killing me, boys. So this isn't supposed to be here, right? Okay. There you go. Now what are we looking at? Do I have to change that to 50 or something? Because it looks like it's not... It's at 9. Or wait, was that a whole separate line? Is that supposed to be like one of the 3? I think I'm about to give up on you here. Yeah, it's the one I just used. Edit source. Yeah, same thing. Am I supposed to put both of them in there? That's what I'm confused. Because they have different numbers. Like that? Is this... well, there's 3 in here now. Hey, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, look at this. Who's got the sauce? Put it on top of my spaghetti I got going on here. Where would you all go if you went on vacation? I would go to Norway. Place maybe is cold, but it looks amazing. You know, one of my backgrounds, I was just showing my dad. Let me pull it up. It was in Norway. Oh, what was it? Here it is. It's called Rampastrekken? I have no idea how you actually say it, but Here's what it looks like. So this is one of the places I told myself I want, like, this is a bucket list place. I have it set to one of my backgrounds. Let me rump Schrecken. So that's like that's this thing right here, right? It like hangs over so you can see it. But the picture I have set as my background is one that looks like this. Actually, I think, no, yeah, it actually might be this one, but the quality's better. But like you can kind of see the overall like little thing here. And I don't know, like that's just freaking stunning. It's beautiful. And it's definitely something that I have to see with my own eyes. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty funny that you said Norway. That's definitely one of the places I would like to go, especially here. I can't imagine, like, this is part of why I got into trading, to be able to get to the point where I can do things like this with my kids. I was never granted the opportunity growing up because we were more on the poor side. You know, our vacations were going to local amusement parks, you know, stuff like that. Going out to eat at a nice place every once in a while, like Red Lobster. like that was like our pluses growing up, which is fine. It makes you appreciate life a little bit better. But at the same time, it made me realize that I want to be able to take my kids places. I want to be able to show them the world, because not only do I get to show it to them, but I get to experience it with them. Like, to me, that's really what I'm after. Like my life when I had my kids literally became about my kids. It became, how do I provide the best life for my kids? It's not about me anymore. Obviously, yes, I want to take care of myself, but at the same time, myself is like one of the last things I worry about. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, when it comes down to it, my kids come first. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And to be able to know in the future, if I can make day trading work, which I really think we're on the right path, that I could actually take them to places like this and never have to actually like worry about the money, right? That's one of the things. There's reasons people don't get to go see places like this, because it's all because of the money. So money doesn't buy you happiness. Sure, it's true, it doesn't. But at the same time, it can put you in a place where you can experience the things that you wouldn't normally be able to experience, and those things do make you happy. So unfortunately, it's kind of a catch-22, but hey. Fiji? Yeah, Fiji would be nice too. We used to go to Florida every year, me and the wife. And then we had the kids. We don't go there anymore. We just go to Ocean City, or now we're going to Myrtle Beach. Cheaper places while they're young. There's no reason to spend the money while they're young. And on top of that, we're doing well financially. We budget. You know, Dave Ramsey, believe it or not, reading that book. I forget the name of the book off the top of my head. But it was a really good book. It really put a lot of things into perspective. It helps you realize a good way to get ahead. And to be completely honest, it changed our thinking, and it put us in a good spot. I mean, that was about 5 years ago. It was like right before we had kids. And yeah, I would like to say that it put us into a spot where now that we have kids, all I'll say is, man, when they're finally in public school and we're not paying for daycare anymore, it's going to feel like we're rich. Ever been to Minnesota? Their Wendy's is the best, like the restaurant Wendy's. The Wendy's by us, man. The kids love their chicken nuggets, but for some reason it's like the slowest Wendy's in the world. You can pull up and you'd be like one behind the person that's ordering, and it still takes 20 minutes. It's like, seriously? Like, what the fuck's going on? The restaurant? Like the fast food restaurant? Like the one with the ponytail, the red hair? Well, AA, yeah. Dave Ramsey's book you have to take with a grain of salt because it's kind of outdated. So is Wendy's not like a thing? Where is Minnesota? You're not saying Minnesota, are you? Is Minnesota a place? I've never heard of a place called Minnesota. Are you trying to say Minnesota? Where are you from? Let's start with that. But yeah, like using credit cards, like we use credit cards for everything. I mean, everything. And then we just pay them off. It's silly. Like Amazon, we buy a lot from Amazon. So we got the Amazon card. So we get 5% back on everything we buy on Amazon. Then we have another card that's just for gas. And when we do eat out, you get 3%. And then we have a card for everything else that is 2% on everything. So if you paid with cash for everything, you would never get something like that. And on top of that, you're building your credit. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to do what Dave Ramsey says with like the whole cash only thing. But just the more so what I was getting at with the Dave Ramsey thing is the principles, like the principles behind what he's talking about. I can't do shots. I'm literally in 45 minutes getting ready to drive 8 hours. So yeah, no shots tonight. You're from Arizona? Minnesota. I've never heard. Is that a city? What state is it in? I'm gonna go shower and lay down. You fellas have a great weekend. Tim, enjoy your vacation. Thanks, man. Have a good weekend yourself. Have a good week next week. I'll check in on you guys. I'll probably ask Brian how everybody's doing at some point. Not really looking to get too involved with the home life while we're away. Yeah, you take the shots for me. Send me the video. But with that said, I am going to get out of here, guys. I do need to go pack the car. We have everything sitting here in the living room, so I just got to throw it in the back of the trunk because I had to clean out. I hope you got a big trunk because I'm going to put my bike in it. The Discord? Yeah, no, definitely not Vincenzo. It's going to be Thomas and Devin. They'll be in there. We've actually had quite a few people in there lately. It's been nice. I like it. People are actually following the rules, posting charts, being supportive. The Discord's becoming a good place. I like the direction it's going. So I like knowing that if people are in there doing the right things, when people come in, they'll just follow suit. So instead of just having people in there doing what they were doing before, and we had to, kind of get rid of them, it's been nice ever since those couple people have disappeared. Todd, what's up, man? When people get new phones now, can't they just transfer the numbers? Come on. Maybe I won't text you, so you just don't have my number anymore. That'd be nice. Twitter. You're such a stalker, Mojika. You stalker. Thanks, No Name. Appreciate it. Hopefully I don't need luck on the trip, but I appreciate the the support. Anybody have any last minute questions? I'll give you a chance. I didn't really give you guys a chance for last minute questions because it's probably only gonna take me like 10-15 minutes to load the car. So yeah, I'm just getting off. Hit him up on Twitter. That's like his best form of communication. He's an old schooler. What kind of phone did you get, Todd? You should have transferred everything and then wiped it, you dummy. Going to Myrtle Beach. Just for the week. We've had this plan since before everything happened, so there really wasn't. They wouldn't. We tried to get it refunded a few months ago, and they were like, "Well, there's nothing saying that you can't go." And it's like, "Well, yeah, because you're in South Carolina, down where everybody's not worried about it." Don't even get me started on all that crap. If you poke them in the eye, you do. Can cats wink? If you poke them in the eye. Okay, got it. Well, Kim answered the question for me. Is that a thing? Do cats not wink? I'm not a cat person. Do cats wink? Winking. When your cat winks at you, is it flirting? That might be one way to interpret the kitty-eye communication, sometimes called a cat kiss. It is a non-threat signal that cats use with each other as well as humans they are comfortable with. Is it normal for cats to wink? Of course, every cat's wink or blink is not necessarily a sign of affection. The telltale sign of affection is the slow, deliberate wink or blink. Anything else may mean that the cat has something in her eye, or that she has an infection or an eye injury. So it sounds like cats don't normally wink, and if they do, they're either hurt or they like you. I honestly didn't even know that they don't blink or wink. It's interesting. You're taking shots? Do I have to pay you? Should I set the poll up? 3, 2, 1. Do it. Wait, how do you know that Kim's taking a shot? Are you guys like on a video feed together or something? I owe you $10 each? Deal. You must be taking shots. You can't even type right. Note 20 Ultra? Oh, that's the phone you got. Gotcha. Honor system? I need video proof. I'm sorry. You guys get video proof when I do it, so I need video proof from you. You show me video proof of you taking a shot, I'll send you the $10. Brian needs to be shirtless though. Shit, I'll send Brian $50 if he sends me a video of him taking a shot. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. I need to pack. I don't want to fall behind on the time schedule. I guess I'll never know where Minnesota is. Oh, speaking of which, the wife is getting up, so perfect timing. Everybody have a good weekend. Have a good week next week, and I will see you guys not Monday, but the following Monday. So until then, peace.